I decided I don't feel well enough to go be outside right now. Well, for my personal health and for the health of the community, I figure it's better to limit my interactions right now. But I'm going to have to go back out there either tonight or tomorrow, one way or another. Unless some chance occurrence where somebody donates money to me so I can eat food without having to expose myself to the public. I don't know. I don't know that it's likely to happen. So far, I've only gotten one donation from YouTube people ever. And I know YouTube people, there's some of y'all just got dough and really like to help people out. But I feel like a lot of those donations and super chats and stuff that I'm unable to partake in right now go towards people who already have enough. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Because what is enough? How do you know when it's enough? I am not feeling my wellest. Another thing I noticed is that even like max gain and me talking at a good volume for some reason, this always sounds quiet and muffled. And so does the other microphone. So I know it's not because I thought at first it was because this one got wet. Cuz this one did get wet, but that's not why because the other one that did not get wet is also rather muffled and quiet. Maybe I got a bad deal. And I think that I maybe did, but I don't know other microphones at this price point to even compare it to. Because I'm going to completely real with you. I did not pay a lot of money for any of this equipment. Surprise. I mean, it's better than. Hold on, I want to hear myself for the first. I want to. I am not hearing myself. But why? Okay, now I am. And it's not very loud. Yeah, it just isn't very loud. I don't know. Even at peak performance, it's not that you can't hear me. You can definitely hear me. But for some reason, it just sounds quieter than other stuff that I see on YouTube. I don't understand. Sorry, I'm dying. Anyway, gonna sit here and wait for some chatters so I can try to beg at them, plead for my life. Oh, Hey, yo, Web White, tell him Blanco sent you. We ain't even supposed to be here. Yeah, I'm definitely sick, man. I don't know. I don't get enough nutrition. I don't get enough sleep. I have to be outside during the worst hours, like the coldest hours, the most public hours. And I have to politic and socialize with just about anybody who's willing to. That's not a good way to stay healthy. Especially during flu season, it's because other people are a lot less careful about their interactions. They don't care if they get sick. They have insurance. They can take PTO. Their lives are pretty well figured out because they followed the system. It's the smell. Does the system, the powers that be, the current structure of society, have your or everyone's best interest at heart? My stance, my position is that no. No, it does not. Not always. And see, you can hear the water sounds of the pump of the aquarium, but it still, for some reason, sounds muffled. Now, I've seen people take these microphones apart because there's stuff inside the microphone that intentionally muffles it. But it's supposed to also function as a pop filter, which, as you can hear, it does not do a great job as a pop filter. It doesn't sound bad. I would not say that this microphone sounds bad. It doesn't have that tinniness that a laptop microphone or a cell phone microphone would have. It's it's a fair microphone, and I do have another microphone intended for show use. This is not intended for show use. This is intended for broadcasts, and if ever I meet another human being again, podcasts of where I interview other people. But I need a lot of stuff before I get to that. I need a vehicle. The ability to travel. Now, I don't need a vehicle because I'm unable to walk. What I need a vehicle because the places to where I need to walk are not accessible reasonably on foot because America is constructed in such a way that you are expected to own a vehicle. You're expected to be able to travel miles at only the cost of fuel and not much actual exertion. There is not a comedy club within walking distance everywhere is walking distance if you have the time, as the great Stephen Wright has said. But I don't have the ability to carry the equipment that I would need across multiple miles and to keep myself and the items secure from jackboot thugs and robbers. Because we do have in America opportunistic thieves who will see something, they don't even know what it is, they just know that it's expensive, and they'll just rob the person. Figure it out later what it is and what it's worth. And there's nothing, I've been friends with those people. There's nothing wrong with those people on an individual basis. I understand why they function as necessary, and it's because it's necessary. Jack Boys would not exist if people just had what they need. And I know you're like, oh, but there's the greedy people who would take more than what they need because they don't care who they hurt. Right. However, in a society that cares for each other and the neighbors as much as you care for yourself, it's really hard to get away with that kind of stuff. When especially when the baseline is that everyone has what they need, I think that people would be more likely to step up and say, "Hey, you got everything you need. Why are you trying to take from other people?" You know? But that's not the default position. America likes this idea of you gotta work for what you got. You gotta bootstrap yourself. And even though the people saying these things did nothing to earn, they were just born into the right family at the right place at the right time. Most typically. Which, again, I'm grateful. I'd rather be homeless in America than like a full blown citizen in a lot of other places. Like I don't think I would survive very long in Pakistan, let alone homeless. But because of the because of my atheism, even as a they would drag me out of my house and remove my skull while my heart's still beating for the fact that gods are not possible, even slightly. Would I be even? That's another question. If I were raised in Pakistan, would I even be able? How you know what I have to go through to have the correct information to even be able to draw that conclusion? Because it takes a certain, it takes a very deep understanding of how and why people function to defeat God. There are the people who read the Bible and become atheists, right? But there are other people who need to replace that sureness that they get from, oh, God got me. You know, you need to trust yourself like that. You need to know that you've got you, and that at least one other person, if you stumble, would help you out. And without those prerequisites, I feel like defeating the idea of God is very difficult, because for a lot of people who feel ostracized, uh, the only friend that they can find is Jesus. That's pretty bad. We should not leave people in circumstances where they go seeking for invisible help. That's a we're I think we should, as a society, I think we're past that. I don't think there's okay, so the one argument that makes religion appealing, in my opinion, the one argument is that it forms societies in a cohesive way. You end up getting people working towards a common goal, which is undeniably beneficial, which is what kind of really separates humans from the rest of the animals, right? But we are past the need for the lie, for the all seer. We're the of the for of the punishment that to come, right? Allegedly, I think but we aren't. I know that we aren't. I know a lot, even in this country, in this great country of America, despite all the work people have done, there are still majority, it, still a majority of religious people. But then if you break those down, like they'll claim that something like, I guess, 60% of Americans claim some kind of religious affiliation. But then if you ask them further questions, a lot of them, something like 30% of those 60%, say that they only do it because of the social benefits that it offers in the community building that it offers. And it's difficult to audit these places. So a lot of churches receive donations to help homeless people or to help people in need, but then they'll turn around and only help people in that congregation, only the people who attend that church, which kind of seems like a whole unnecessary middleman of charity. Like what it's, if Sandy didn't give money to Pastor John, Sandy would have money to give to Mary Jane down the road when Mary Jane needed a little help buying diapers, or I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Because, and then when you do finally, I've been in these situations because I've been a poverty person for a very long time. I was impoverished. I've been homeless for 20 years, and I was impoverished for 17 years before that. Oh no, 21 years. I've been homeless for 21 years. My homelessness is old enough to imbibe in alcohol. And before that, I was impoverished. And so I find myself, like, with my dad also had impoverished friends. And so particularly a family of that I recall, they did all the Jesus stuff, right? They did, well, there's two of them actually, now that I think about it. Two of them that really, like, went and did all the Jesus stuff. And when they finally got to the point where they had to ask the church for help, the church would give them expired food. Oh, and it's, yeah. And then I do get it, because there are scammers. There's people out there that I've met as an impoverished person, where even if they have everything that they need, they're gonna try to milk what they can from the government or from organizations, and they're full blown 100% absolute scam artists, these people. And so you have to protect against that, which is part of why there's so many hoops you got to jump through as a homeless person to get any help, as far as like paperwork and all that, and interviews, and it's But it should be trust but verify. I think it should be you give the people the help that they're asking for, which is usually just housing and food and health care. Most people, and then the health care, a lot of people are shamed into not even being able to recognize that they're unhealthy or to be able to address that they're unhealthy. You just kind of taught to suck it up and deal. You'll get over it. The body will do it, and that's not proper. That's not right. Because when religious communities do that, they charge the parents for murder on the baby. If the religious parents start like, the baby's sick but it doesn't need help, we just gotta pray and then the baby dies. There are, it, and is jail? See, I don't even like jails because jail's not the answer to that kind of. Because those people have it. It's not necessarily their fault. Because I don't think that's a conclusion people would come to on their own. The natural instinct is to seek help, and so, but what ends up happening is the pastor gets in there before the doctors, and obviously the pastor's gonna see like demons where the doctor sees germs. But I don't know. Back in the day, it used to be the pastor and the doctor. It was the witch doctor. It was the same thing, But at least they still tried stuff. They'd mix up different chemicals to try to make medicine, and call it magic. That's fine. That's still better than just praying. I need a moment. I'm still here, but I need a moment again because I'm here. I'm not out in the world. So I have to still my mind, as they say. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I don't think jail is a solution for a whole lot of problems, honestly. Uh, some people are just dedicated and committed to being dickheads, and I guess you put those guys in jail because it's like, well, I mean, you can't supervise them 24/7 unless they're in jail. And then if they're gonna be a dickhead, at least they're being dickheads to other dickheads. How that works, right? But when you have a for-profit prison industrial complex where lawyers and judges and cops depend on this income, there's going to be corruption. There's going to be false arrests, false convictions. There's going to be because it generates income. It's business. It's numbers now. It's not just about serving the community anymore. Now it becomes we need charts and data to support our existence. And I don't have a solution. I don't have an answer necessarily for, but I don't know. I know that violence isn't necessary. For me personally, I've endured a lot of violence in my lifetime, and all I've ever learned from getting punched in the head is that people are intolerant and resort to violence when they got no answer. uh, I think the most recent time I got punched in the head, I'm going to talk about that. I wanted to make a video of talking about all the different times that I've been punched in the head. So here's like a preview of one of the times that I've been punched in the head. I was at a McDonald's, just bumming. Actually, this is a kind of a funny story. So I was in Longmont, Colorado, and I had placed my stuff in what I thought was a secure location. And I went off to the McDonald's to take like a quick break and try to formulate a plan, get some Wi-Fi, and charge my phone. And a guy comes into the McDonald's and orders himself to the not McFlurries, but like the slushy drinks. I don't know what those are. The mix somethings, right? Everything's mix something. And the machine, because it was a particularly hot day, the machine was spitting out more juice than ice, or the ice was watery. Nothing that the McDonald's employees can do about that unless they change the laws of physics, right? This guy starts freaking out at the McDonald's manager lady, who I had picked up hardly spoke English, definitely not a native English speaker. And this guy, he's just tripping out on the lady. And I said, hey, man, why don't you relax? And he turns around and he screams at me. He goes, my 90-year-old mother is in the car right now, baking. And I said, well, they're not the ones who left her in there. And so he punched me in the head. Just like I'm the one who left his mom in the car to come argue with McDonald's employees. And I tried to put my drink down so I was going to punch him back in the head because I know that I can punch better than him, especially having been punched by him already. But he literally just ran out of the store, got in his car, and drove away, which is a much better outcome, in my opinion. And this is 2021, 2020, yeah, 2021. And I think that's no, I think, yeah, I've been punched in the head more recently than that. One, one time more recently. But that's one of the times that I've been punched in the head. And I don't know. I get punched in the head a lot because I say the thing that nobody wants to hear. I don't mind bringing people to uncomfortable truths. And I wish more people were like that. Because if the mirror was flipped and you could criticize something I'm saying or doing, well, like I'm harassing a McDonald's employee, like you leave those people alone. Those people, McDonald's employees, do not have the best home life. Typically, I don't think there's very many people who have a trust fund in a home that's like, I'm gonna go do McDonald's for a living. I don't think that's a choice that people who got it made are deciding to do. People at choose people who choose to work at a McDonald's, they're already not doing great in life. So why would you make it a point to make their lives more difficult? My second job was at McDonald's, and I got fired. Well, I quit. I was gonna get fired because this old couple said that I swore at them when I did not swear at them. Between you and me, 20 some odd years later, I didn't swear at these old people. They were trying to scam an expired coupon, and when I told them no, they went to the next window and just lied. And so my manager pulls me aside and says, Brandon, did you swear at these old people? And me being the person that I am, I know that the decision's already been made. I know that there's no way for me to get out of this. Like, I can't. There's no audio on the recordings. You know, there's just video at the time. This is back in like 2004, and there's just video. There's no way I'm gonna be able to vindicate myself and prove that I did not swear at these old people. So I just quit and I walked home. Because I am the person who will swear at old people. You know what I mean? Especially 16-year-old me, 17-year-old me, however old I was. And yeah, I'm definitely the person who swears at old people. But in this circumstance, and it's not, oh, Brandon, you got caught and you couldn't face it. No, no, because if if I did swear at the old people and my manager came to me and said, Brandon, did you swear at the old people? I would have been like, fuck yeah, I swore at those cunts. But that's not what happened. I did not swear at the old people, and I knew from past experiences that just being accused is like, well, this is done. I've walked off so many jobs. That's a problem. Because I don't tolerate nonsense. It's nope. One job I walked off. I was doing a Target. I was updating their front registers at a Target, and the guy in charge of the job said to me, "Hey, because I had my phone on the counter. Now I'm updating the registers, and I'm using both my hands to replace the computer and then plug in the new hand scanner and the new credit card machine. And while I'm doing this, I'm up and down in front of the counter to where I can have a conversation with someone inside my phone and still have both my hands to do work. And I was talking to my daughter on the phone, and the guy in charge of the job, not even related to Target, but the other network guy, I guess he was running cable in the ceilings or something, and says that I need to get off my phone. I need to turn my phone off. And not, now, I don't know if you know this, but my daughter and I's relationship is rather tenuous. And when I have the opportunity to talk to her, that's paramount. That's the most important thing for me to do. So I said, "Oh, you need me to get off the phone?" And he, this is what I said. He goes, "Yeah, man." And so I just picked the phone up and walked out of the job because I don't know. I think people got life backwards. If I don't know. That's a weird thing. And he seemed like, I don't know. He seemed like the type of guy that didn't have any kids. I don't know. I didn't ask him. I didn't really stick around and interview the guy. But yeah, I'm gonna walk off a fucking job for that. I don't. I don't know. You can't. Yeah, I don't know. And they try to normalize it. People try to normalize just seeing their kids for like 3 hours a day, or for a father to just see their kid from Friday night to Sunday afternoon, like 36 hours straight. It's like, or maybe what is that, 48 hours straight? They try to make it seem like 3 days. They try to normalize the parents just being absent, even when they live in the same house. Like, even when people who have both their parents sometimes are entirely neglected because their parents work long hours and don't have time. They don't have time or the energy to deal with my kid. Kid fine, kids eating. Oh, kids, right? Lots of that. I don't know. That was never my approach. So I don't know. To me, family first. That's kind of important. But it's a weird thing to say that when the everyone in my family's abandoned me. That's. But those, whatever. Those are the giver upper kind of people. That I don't know. I can't give up on a person. That's if I man. I don't know. I don't. I try not to. I don't sit here and brag about all the good stuff that I do when I'm out in the world because I don't need that. I don't record all the times that I've gotten food for other people when I don't have any food usually. I don't. It's and when I see that with YouTube, because every once in a while YouTube will be like, "Hey, watch this video of this." I was seeing out. I think it was Oregon or Washington State. This guy giving out like chicken wings to the homeless all the time and recording it, never showing his face, just showing the homeless people, and he's standing there asking, and it's meant to it's meant to draw on empathy. People are like, oh look, he's helping the home, but like that kind of just helps them stay there. That helps them to get by and stay in that position. It doesn't help them to give them chicken wings. Or there's the guy all the time he shows up to the restaurants and he's like, "Hey, I'm buying 4,000 cheeseburgers for the homeless people in the restaurants." Like, I can't charge you money for that. We'll do it for free. Because they happen to have, you know, yeah, an abundance of supply that day all the time. I don't know. It's not good to exploit people who are who you see if like I don't know why do people do that, and they're the channels that pop off the most. These people, you can get 460 million views in a day. Meanwhile, here I am, an actual homeless person, and nobody gives a shit. No, I'm just kidding. Some people give a shit, but I don't know. They're not here to chat right now, I guess. Yeah, I really need antibiotics, man. That's like a week. And the problem with it is the longer you don't get the antibiotics, the more damage that happens. But what can you do? Start trying to grow my own penicillin, you know? Can't do that. That's just moldy bread, man. You can't because the actual penicillin would obviously is refined. Okay. All right. Yeah, I have a platform where I can just scream into the void and maybe someone will listen. So I'm going to use that platform right now. Uh, all right, good. I lost it. Good, totally. Because it wasn't. It was one of those. Yeah. Hold on. Wait a second. Wait, just a second. I'm gonna. Processed foods are not your enemy. That's it. That's what I wanted to say, and now I remember it because I can go back and hear what I was talking about. I wanted to talk about how processed people are like, oh my god, processed foods are no good. It no, it's super salty foods that are not good. You gotta avoid sodium and things that make your body make cholesterol, bad cholesterol, because there is good cholesterol. There's like a greasy one that really keeps everything all lubed up. Because your body is just a composition of proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids, as well as it's about 60% bacteria as well. So you're like a you're like a disease carrying water balloon, and it comes down to you gotta have a, the right proteins, the right fats, and the oils, and you gotta have if you put an overabundance of sodium or fats, you don't do that. Processed foods are not necessarily bad for you. You just got to be careful for how much sodium's in stuff. Yeah, people are going crazy. Like they're trying to grow beef in a lab, and I would eat that. I would eat beef from a lab before I would eat the cockroaches that they dip in chocolate. That, that's a thing. I'm not doing that. I don't know how you feel, but I am 100%. I'd rather eat meat grown in a lab than chocolate dipped grasshoppers and chocolate dipped cockroaches. People are crazy. But they eat shrimp, which is just cockroaches of the ocean. Honestly, anything's good enough. Anything's good enough if you season it right and use the right oils. I'm telling you, there's nothing that can't be made delicious so far. You go to any culture, they're cooking something. It's and they're doing it well. You underestimate the food of the world. I'm telling you, if given the opportunity to actually meet people who are different from you, try their food every time. Unless they're British or Irish, you can go your whole entire life without eating their food and you'll be fine. Or Scottish, they're you can skip that. And you could skip honestly, you could skip French food too, unless you really like soup. They'll make anything a soup. French people will make anything a soup. Absolutely. I'll stand on that. French people cook with onions, lots of onions, garlic, lots of garlic. But that's all the once you get south of England, people start using stuff. If you want to know how to cook a potato, ask a fucking Irishman. That's it. Because there Irish people are like Bubba Gump when it comes to potatoes. They're like, oh yeah, you got the sauteed potatoes, potato chips, French fried potatoes, pan fried potatoes, steak fries, which have nothing to do with steak, chili fries, which you need lots of chili. If you ask an Irish guy on how to prepare a potato, you're gonna get a whole lot of answers. Potato soup, potato stew, potato chowder. I appreciate the one other person that's watching me do this. Thank you for hanging in there. We're figuring it out. I don't know. I'd like to eat food today. It's a goal. It's a goal of mine. I try, one of my hobbies is I like to try to eat food at least once a day. Sometimes twice a day. I'll eat food. Those are the good days. Those are the ones that you mark in your calendar. But they are not all good days. They are not all winners. I can't even get the NSA to watch me. I would like to thank all of my 215 subscribers for making me one of the least watched channels on YouTube. Thank you. I am gonna shoot off a round of emails to see if I can solicit any kind of money. Thanks for tuning in. Have a beautiful day. As always, I love you. Thanks for watching. And please consider the information right there on the screen. Thanks for watching. I love you. Bye.